Okay, it's Rob from Panacea Survival Tools. I'm out here on the beautiful Yuba River, which is near my home. It's one of my favorite places to go to. Show my shirt. Okay, anyway, but I'm here to do a review on the Competiton chopper that I designed and built for Knife or Death. And this is it. It's called the Reaper. This is the sheath I made for it. Just really quickly, I built it out of some plastic that I found at the Restore, which is a building material, a used building material store. And then I did this on the back, do a little promo for myself for a loan, because I've been trying to get on that program. It's a competition survival show. And I put it out there on social media to bug them, to help get me on there, and they didn't appreciate it. So I want to say thanks to everybody that did bug them for me, but don't do that. They don't want that. So anyway, that's that. All right, so the Reaper is basically a machete, and I call it a triple-sided machete, bat-handled triple-sided machete, in that I sharpened all three of these sides, and they all have different grinds on them, meaning that they are designed to cut differently on each side. So first of all, let me tell you about the steel. The steel is 1095 high carbon steel, and it's only 1/8 of an inch thick. You can see there that it's not very thin. That's not very thick, but it has enough weight and power to it because I designed it to have this big taper coming out here. So this thicker area in here adds more weight forward, so that gives you more inertia and more stored energy, kinetic energy, when you swing. So the bigger it is out here, the more energy you can store in it and deliver it to your target. So that's why I designed it like that. Also, this curve feature on here, I designed it to cut through the rope and chicken and other and the fruit. It has a shallower grind. You can see that this grind is wider than this side, because it comes back at a slacker angle, if you will. It's a convex grind. That means that it has a convex curve to it going down to support the edge. It's the strongest grind really for an edge, because you can support that edge right up to the very edge. It doesn't fall away as fast as on a flat grind or a hollow grind. It'll fall away faster, and that weakens that edge. It'll sink in better, but it also makes it more brittle. So for most survival tools, you'll see them ground as a convex grind, and so that's what I'm into. So I ground it that way. Also, this curve right here will slow down. Like when you're cutting through a rope, it's round, it's coming in here, it gets more friction more in there, and it causes it to sink in. So it basically, they call it bunches up. So the thing will slow it down right here, and it allows it to sink in. So that's why I put a curve on this side for the ropes and stuff. It just goes right through them. It worked out great. The problem with making the angle cut really slacker angle like that is that it won't support the edge for as long. If it's hitting a lot of heavy chopping, it's gonna deform more quickly and maybe roll, and so it could be dulled more easily. So I use that for the softer side, and this one has a steeper convex angle, and that supports the edge, more closer in, and so it's gonna last longer. That edge is gonna last longer, not gonna be able to roll as easily. So that's basically the design criteria. Oh, except for I put a point on it. I think maybe season 2 they might have some obstacle where you have to thrust or pierce with it. So I put a point on there. Anyway, I'd probably do that differently if I was going to do it again. And then, as I said, the steel is made from 1095, and I built this 10 days before the shoot. So, I started building it 10 days before the shoot. So I sent this out to have it heat treated because I didn't want my blade to break on national TV. So I sent it out to Peterson's Heat Treating, who turned it around for me in one day. They got it, I sent it out overnight. They did it, sent it back overnight. And so hats off to them. Thank you very much. And let me show you some cool stuff they did. They did some rosebuds in here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's these little discolorations that are kind of round right in there. And what those are is they get a torch and they heat it up after it's heat treated. It's hard, and then they soften those areas of the steel. It's called annealing, and they spot annealing. So it softens up the center of the blade where it has the most stress right there, to make it more ductile and make it less likely to fail there. So thank you very much for doing that. They just did that without me asking. I told them I was very concerned about it breaking, and so they just did what they needed to do. So hats off again for the great work. Yeah, it's hardened to a 58 Rockwell, 58. So it's on the softer side, but like I said, I'd rather have it bend on national TV than break, and it didn't. You know, it's straight as an arrow. So anyway, I haven't touched it since the competition as far as sharpening it or anything. So it's you know, it's still in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of edge problem here. There's a little bit of edge you can see in here. Maybe, I don't know, a little deformation here. I have a little bit of a rolled edge right here. But overall, you can see. I don't know if you can. This is how I test for sharpness. How it catches. You can see how it's catching pretty well right here. So you got a little part there was probably a little bit of a rolled edge or something up here. It gets really sharp again. Anyway, I haven't touched it since then. Okay, on the handle then, this is a handle was made from English walnut, which you can't see very well because of the skateboard tape that I put on there. But this English walnut was from my girlfriend's backyard. The big old walnut tree died. She actually had 2 of them die back there, and you know, couldn't mill it up, so I just chopped it into firewood, which is a shame. But anyway, I salvaged some of the pieces and I cut this out, so it's kind of got a little bit of like home with me. I think that's like, you know, pretty Hollywood. You know, got a little bit of home with me while I'm away. So then I put the skateboard tape on here, which is the first I think of any of the competitors have done this, and it's awesome. Try it on one of your grips. You know, put full on some good quality skateboard tape on there. The grip is amazing, especially if you have to use gloved hands like we had to on the show. We had to use their you know, the Kevlar gloved hands, their gloves, so that, you know, be less likely to cut ourselves. And we had to use a neck thing, and then their, you know, Kevlar vest and arm things and leg protectors. So anyway, you know, we were pretty protected there. So also, when you're swinging a competition cutter, you know, of course you have to have a lanyard on it, which they put on there. If we had one on there, they would take it off, put their own on there because they wanted to make sure it was to their specs. Anyway, when you're swinging a competition cutter, you know, you'll have more fatigue if you don't counterbalance it. So I put on this pommel right here. This pommel is, you know, my classic meat tenderizer, which is, I do a lot of my designs like them for SOCOM stock that I designed for Ace, and the hammer stock, or it's a patented feature on those stocks I did for Ace, riflestocks.com, and it's just one of my things that I do. It just makes it look tougher. You know, it's a little more Hollywood, but yeah, it's all right. Got the, you know, skull crusher pommel on there, but the main thing is what I'm getting at is that it makes it balance perfectly. I have it balancing out here about 2 inches out, and you can see that's pretty good. I mean, you know what I mean? That's more weight forward, and that's really how you want it. Actually, a chopper, you want the weight to be more forward, so you have, you know, more inertia, and then still, you know, returns fast. That balancing point actually makes it good enough you could even throw it. You know, you'd have a pretty good thrower. Just take the lanyard off, but anyway, okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the Reaper. Designed and built, you know, to dominate season 1. Of course, in season 2, of course, everything changes, but not everything, but most of it. Okay, so anyway, that's it. What I would do different on it, I would make it longer. I would go with a 22 or 20 to our 24-inch blade. This is an 18-inch blade on here with like a 8-inch handle, so that's a 26 inches overall. You know, performed really well. Happy with it, but if I was to do it again, I'd go longer, and I'd make these sides even. I'd make the curve side. I'd also put a curve on this side. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that. This line on this side, I kept it straight, so I would know exactly where I was. So when I'm chopping to something, you know, you can, I know exactly where it's going to hit. It's not hitting on a curve feature or something, you know what I mean? You know, and you're going frantically, and you're just like, you know, focusing on the thing you're chopping. I just wanted to hit on the straight edge, so and not on some weird design feature where it might not sink it in as well. But you know, generally you automatically align with the sweet spot on the weapon after you've used it for a while. Like I was able to train with a different one, so my swings and everything were good. So I would put a curve on it, I think, next time, so that it would sink in better. You know, having that curve, you don't have so much surface area to hit in the front. It could curve away and then sink in, you know, like on axes. It's kind of a little bit of a curve where the edges, not all axes, I guess. Anyway, okay. Well, Rob from Panacea Survival Tools. Beautiful Yuba River.